Hey, Travis here, Stevens Truck Power. We got an N14 in here today. We're going to be swapping out an injector on it. The number 3, we've done a cylinder test with our Insight program. Shows number 3 is not working, so we're going to go ahead and change that out. We do get some comments and people wanting to see more N14 stuff. They're getting a little rare out there, but we do have one today, so we'll show you how to swap out an injector on this one. So we've got the cover off. Already started with that cover right there. And number 3, obviously under the middle head right here, and I started pulling these jakes off. So we'll get them off. And then we can go to it. So just be careful lifting that off. It really should reuse a gasket on that. I mean, not reuse, but put a new gasket on. I have reused in a pinch if you have to, so there is that option, I guess. So next will be the rocker arms, and I'll just spin those off. Oh. So those will come off of there, and I'll go over some torques as we go back together, but I'll spin those out. I like using a flex head or a speed handle, just a little bit quicker. But so, get that off. One thing I'll show you under here is, if you haven't been into one of these before, there's some guides under this that you got to be careful of. So this one's stuck in the rocker. I don't know if you can see that little guide right there. A lot of times they'll stay in the rocker box. Sometimes they'll stay in here. Sometimes they flop around, so you just got to be careful not to lose that, because that guides your rocker assembly. And pull the crossheads off. Go ahead and get that injector out. So the injector's held down with the hold down, and then it's just got to plug in right here, and that is a pass through to the other side. So you just end up just to push down and pull like so. That'll come undone. Get that out of there. It is relatively quick to do one of these, especially if it's cold like this one is. So. And then it just takes a little heel bar or something to pop it up out of the hole. So I'm just going to get that under there, and if you're careful, I mean, it'll kind of bend this gasket a little bit, but it's not in any spot that's crucial. There we go. Okay, so that's popped out of there. Then you just want to get the new one and get it lubed up. It's like so. The old one out. Got our new injector going in here. Pretty self-explanatory. Just pushes down in. I always like to check these. I have had 1 or 2 in the past that are loose right out of the box, and that'll cause you a ton of grief, because that will log an injector code, and when you think you've just changed it, then you start looking for other problems. So let's make sure the nuts are tight. Doesn't happen very often, but I've seen it. So anyway, we'll get these O-rings lubed up. And then what I didn't film is I blew down in the hole with some air. Not necessary, but it's a good idea, because the fuel will pour down in that cylinder, and you'll get a pretty good fuel knock on startup. So it's good just to put a little air down there, kind of get rid of some of that fuel. So these are just to push in. There's one notch, second notch, it kind of bottoms, and then you can go ahead and put your hold down in. So, and then we'll torque these. I think it's 30 foot-pounds, 35 foot-pounds. We'll double check that torque. So we'll spin that down and we'll go grab the torque wrench. Alright, got our torque wrench here, going to 30 foot-pounds on this injector. Definitely all good there. Don't forget to plug the plug in. That'll really foul you up, especially once you get the rockers on, because you can't get to it. So make sure you go slow and take care of all the steps. Make sure that snaps in like that. Always good practice also to make sure these push tubes stayed in the hole down on the follower. You can tell just by spinning them that they're there. Sometimes if you pick them up, you can hear the follower come up with it. Just saving you some grief later if those actually pop off of there. So, okay, we'll put the crosshead back on. So, put our rockers back on. Then find the home there, and then as you're screwing these down, just before you get too carried away, always make sure that you've fallen into the push tube. And as you tighten, double and triple check that, because they do pop out. And these will go to 115 foot-pounds, and we'll just go kind of evenly as we bring it down. And again, checking all the time, making sure that them push tubes stay put. Okay. Alright, so after we're torqued down there, I know I probably sound repetitive, but always make sure these are in, because you start cranking the motor and that's out, and you're going to cause some engine damage. So make sure everything's where it ought to be. Double check that you're plugged in. We'll go ahead and set this Jake on. I'm probably going to get a bunch of backlash because, hey, we're not setting the valves. Generally I do that every time we do an injector. The only reason I'm not doing that on this one is we literally ran the valves about 2 hours ago. So we ran the valves, realized we had a bad injector, and so now we're changing it. I could redo it. I have no doubt it'll probably be exactly the same setting as it is now, but where I ran them all already, we're just going to bolt this down, make sure everything stayed where it's supposed to, and we'll be good to go. So we'll go ahead and put that Jake back on. And then again, don't forget your plug-ins, especially the inside one, because that'll bite you too. Okay, we'll torque this down. Goes to 72 foot-pounds, if I'm correct. I will double check that, but just going from memory, and we're good to go. That is a quick change on an injector. Thanks for watching.